Wow, more people still coming. Hello, everybody. This is Jonah Whitcamper, and this is the 37th call of the Amazon Investor Coalition. Again, this is a weekly call and podcast series dedicated to advancing force-friendly economic development and the rule of law across the Amazon region of South America in partnership with local communities. And this week we are featuring the legendary work of Alexandre Alves of USAID Brazil. Alexandre, you are one of the first people I met on this adventure to save the Amazon. You've been super influential and helpful in guiding our process. And we're about to share with everybody else why. So tell us, who are you? Tell us a little bit about your life before USAID.
Thank you, John. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on where we are, right? So thanks for the invitation. Thanks for being here today. It's a pleasure, and it's been very, very good to learn and work with you since last year. I'm the private sector engagement specialist and partnership development at USAID Brazil. Here, also based in Brasilia, U.S. Embassy. I've been working for USAID for the last 13 years, since 2008. And prior to that, I was, for a year, a State Department economic assistant at the embassy as well. And but I started my career back in Chicago. I lived there for 10 years, where I got my graduate degree. Working and studying, economics and international development. But I was the assistant dean in the College of Business for Lewis University for 8 years, and also teaching undergrad and graduate school. So that's a little bit of my background.
Excellent. And how do you want to do this? Do you want me to ask you questions and then do the presentation, or do you want to? The presentation.
I'm going to try to share the screen here because I have a small, short presentation. Let's see if I can do this.
It's working.
It's working.
Yeah.
How's that?
We see the dogs.
Okay. So I'll take from there. I do have 2 dogs. Not those there. My dogs are smaller, Shih Tzus, and it's interesting because every day at 6:30, the female wakes me up to go for a walk, and of course they don't know when Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, right? So it's every day. But I take those times during the walking to reflect about life, and in those last days, I was also reflecting on what I could share with you today here. I'd like to begin by saying that USAID Brazil has developed 2 what we call collective action platforms, Mais Unidos Group and also the PPA. And the concept of the PPA didn't come out of the blue. It was not like one day we wake up and decide to create a PPA. It was on that. I'll go back a decade and shortly share with.
Alexandre, I accidentally muted you. Sorry, could you unmute yourself?
How's that?
Yeah, now you're back. Sorry about that. We'll edit that part out of the podcast. So sorry.
Okay.
And I was trying to say, you're saying the word PPA, and some people might not know what that stands for.
PPA is the partnership platform for the Amazon. And I was saying that I'd like to begin by just saying that the concept of the PPA, it didn't come out of the blue. It was not like one day we'll wake up and decide to create a PPA. It was We have to go back a decade, and I'll shortly share with you the case of Mais Unidos Group. Created within USAID as a way to learn what, where, with whom, and how US companies in Brazil were allocating their corporate social investments. We also learn from those companies that they really welcome very much our assistance and guidance of addressing those challenges. So it was a natural fit, I would say, until the time, an unknown opportunity that we were very happy to identify when we start talking to the companies here in Brazil. And for USAID, it was totally new area of work. How to do it, how to coordinate and organize in manner. We didn't have any funding or staff to work with a group of US companies, private sector companies in Brazil. Nonetheless, both sides were willing to engage and began a journey with one goal, which was to promote the socioeconomic development of Brazil. It wasn't easy, and that's precisely the reason I think we stick together. As a group, we were persistent and knew where we would find a way to collaborate and work as a collective action platform. I would say that the secret was a hidden one word: governance. To make a long story short, USAID was the catalyzer, executive coordinator, and a convener for 8 years before Mais Unidos decided they wanted to take it over and institutionalize the group. It became an association, a legal entity, that when I left, it was operating with a budget of 800,000 reais. And 4 years later, it is in the range of 8 million reais. The US Embassy and USAID continue to be a member of the group, now in an institutional role, with the US Ambassador and USAID Brazil Director as members of the Mais Unidos Board of Directors, along with other CEOs. I will not go much more in detail because of the time, but Mais Unidos has been able to transform millions of lives of Brazilian youth. It has had strategic partnerships with Brazilian federal, state, and municipal government. It's focused on the education, STEM, and last year they had their first project in the Amazon region, attracting funds to help the most vulnerable communities in the region to fight COVID-19. There you can see all Mais Unidos members. I can also later on share more examples of the partnerships that we developed. But let's talk about the Amazon and the PPA. PPA mission is the PPA, as if you what to define it, is a collective action platform that it's led by the private sector, whose aim is to develop and identify innovative, tangible solutions for sustainable development and conservation of the Brazilian Amazon, biodiversity, forests, and natural resources. Currently, PPA has 45 partners. There you have the thematic groups. And I just want to fast forward into in 2016, after the experience of Mais Unidos and engaging with dozens of private sector companies, we began to assess the Amazon region and what the private sector environment would look like there. So I start, traveling to Manaus, mostly, for consultations with more than 80 local, regional, and even national institutions and companies, meeting with CEOs who were engaged in the cause of forest conservation, having calls with Federation of the Industries, universities, local government. The objective was to listen and learn. The finding was that the private sector leaders, once consulted, would like to engage and partner with USAID in a collective action platform. December 2017, PPA is launched with 12 private sector companies. The day after that, we set up a working meeting with the 12 companies, specifically to listen and see what they would like us to do for the next year. That a year after that, we would come back with results. tangible results to present. Then, in partnership with the local NGO IDESAN, this group decided that we should develop an acceleration program. So that's the very first PPA project, if you will. And it was in the first year, the PPA acceleration program. So after 2 years, 30 startups has been participating in this program, and 13 received co-investments. Due to COVID-19, 30 of them are doing okay, but 7 of them are having some financial and management difficulties, unfortunately. There you have the members of the PPA, and we have a great partnership with IDESAN, who has been with us from the beginning in implementing the PPA acceleration program, and also helping in the very much at the initial stages. I'll speak a little bit about the collective action platform. Not going through all the points there, but I'm just going to highlight a few of them. And I would like to say that if you look to work in a collective manner, we have to look into a journey and not so much as a project. Project usually have a beginning and an end, right? Which is fine. However, most of the project, when ends, it really ends, and money and more money is needed to continue, which has been my experience within USAID. That a lot of our projects, when ends, I mean, we got a report back and we got a lot of good work done, but it's hard to to have a lot of them on a sustainable path and continuing without our resources. A collective action platform should be structured and aim to become a self-sustainable entity. Private sector as a protagonist and having a leading role, I think, is key, because they bring innovation, technology, financial resources, they create jobs, they bring a lot of opportunities for partnership and collaborations. And a third point that I'd like to emphasize is governance. It's all about governance and having a neutral entity that is catalyzing the platform, as we did in Mais Unidos group. And I usually say that small is big, so meaning begin small, begin with very committed partners that will be with you for the next couple of years. Some of the why of the collective action platform, it's to promote the exchange of best practice. So you create that environment, opportunities for leverage resources. It's the appropriate environment to co-create, co-develop, and co-invest. And also you share costs, share risks, and share success. Identify creative, innovative solutions for the global development challenges. That's what the collective action platform brings. What's next? Brazil and the US. And what's in the future, right? So I'd like to, before ending, just bring some points for reflection so we can discuss what's next. Some data. There are about, and most of us, I think all of us, we know this, but just to share, there are 25 to 30 million people living in the Amazon region. Per capita income is $300 per month on average. And this data is from August 2019, so it's before the pandemic. Annual per capita income is $3,600. There is a very high concentration of wealth. And is it really about money? How much millions of billions of dollars have been given and spent in the last 2 decades? Are we happy with that, with those results so far? Are we going to keep thinking in project terms, or can we also try a different way? How about to agree that for the next 10 years, we will be taking the Amazon, the conservation of its forests and biodiversity, its sustainable development on a non-stop emergency mode. 25 to 30 million people who the great majority needs only $50 per month. I mean, with the state government's fiscal situation in a disarray, high concentration of wealth, where are you going to invest your $100 million there? Our findings in mapping out over 200 Amazonian startups in our acceleration program to create a pipeline of business that would need 500K, it's not easy. If you're looking for business and to create a pipeline for 500K, it's not easy. Our learning process there for 3 years actually has showed us that the ticket size is much lower, on the range of $70,000 to $80,000. So I'd just like to share that with you as a final point. And I thank you. Thank you very much. I ended here.
Great. You can stop the screen sharing. So I've got 4 questions for you, and then we'll open it up. They're about Belaine, Biden, budgets, and Florida. Can you tell us a little bit about the transfer of the Manaus experience to Belaine? How long ago did that happen, and how's it gone?
It was the very next year when we began, when we launched PPA in Manaus, December 2017. On 2018, I began traveling to Belém for consultations and for also meetings with the private sector. So it took us another year to find out who was who there. And we launched the PPA in Pará at the end of 2019. Different companies, of course.
Great. So the 2 largest cities in the Amazon have these investor gatherings and pipelines and the beginnings of accelerators. And now I'm speaking to Germany and Norway and others on the call. Now we need all the other cities in the Amazon to have the same. So let's work on it together. Alexandre has gotten some experience to help us do that.
There is a demand in Rondônia. The
Okay.
Rondônian people, the Rondônian guys were in the Belém launch. And they said, this is really the private sector, some of the private sector people from Rondônia. So they gave us like a signal saying, it would be nice to explore to develop a collective action platform in Rondônia, in Porto Velho. And that was 2019. And then January, February last year, we didn't do it.
Well, it's unfortunate, of course, that it hasn't happened yet. We understand the impact of the pandemic. Next question. Tell us a little bit about the USAID budget. What is the USAID budget related to the Brazilian Amazon, and what changes do you expect in the next year?
USAID Brazil's mandate is tied to the money. It's a earmarked fund for conservation of the Amazon biodiversity. So USAID Brazil is very much restrict, if you will, to work only in the Amazon region with that purpose. Budget is on average $12 to $15 million per year. So it's a small budget if you compare to other USAID missions. We also are a very, very small, however, very strong and amazing team. So we have 10 people in the team. But And then I think that's part of it, because we have to be creative as a team to try to reinvent ourselves and create opportunities for leveraging, for partnerships. I mean, bring the private sector. So we don't have any expectations in terms of changing or getting more funds for now. Of course, the scenario is very much interesting with the new administration, but for now we cannot anticipate any increase or decrease of budgets. You're mute.
Tell us about the Biden administration. I hear news about climate conference and Earth Day announcement and the idea of a U.S.-Brazil binational institution.
Yeah, well, it's been all over the media, right? The summit that's coming up on April 22nd, President Biden wants to celebrate the Earth Day, and it's inviting other nations to participate as well. So Brazil has been invited. We don't know for now. We don't know what exactly we don't have any information for now in terms of the format and the setup. We know that it's government to government event, but I think it's meant to be that the U.S. government is really highlighting and putting climate change on top of the list for the next 4 years. And I think also it's an event that will kind of get the feeling and the taste for the COP at the end of the year in Glasgow. So it would be nice to hear all the governments have to say on April 22nd in preparation for the end of the year event.
Great. Just so you know, Alexandria, I've gotten some feedback that there's some reverb on the microphone. So if you have headphones or something, it'd be great if you could switch or maybe turn down the volume a little bit. Okay, last question for me, and then we'll open it up for questions. So this has to do with Florida. Nexus has a very significant footprint of members in Florida. Florida's kind of the financial center for transnational Latin American commerce and dealing and economic development in many ways, investing. You and I have talked a little bit about this. Tell us about your idea of organizing an entrepreneur center in Florida.
Thanks. Yeah, it doesn't come out of the blue either. It's been a few of my lessons that I learned by engaging in working with our colleagues in the Amazon region, specifically in Manaus area, in Belém area, is that traditionally, culturally, they've been always looking to the south of Brazil, right? Brasilia, São Paulo, Rio, flying down, trying to get all support from the federal government, from Brazilian folks and companies. And but you know, it's curious, because when I asked the question, I said, you know, what you guys are doing with the United States and particularly Florida, because, you know, if you look to the north here, it takes flight from Manaus to Miami it's shorter than Miami to São Paulo. And the answers that I got from Secretary of State, from professors, from business centers, is that they said, you know, we don't have much contact. We know there's trade, but we don't know, numbers wise, this state. So I suggested to them, I said, no, what if, because look, Florida is the entry point to the United States. It's halfway from Washington. There are about 400,000 Brazilians in the area. Over 1,200 private sector companies there. The dollar is strong. It's 5-1, over 5-1. So, and there's no communication direct line. I mean, I've been talking to Secretary of Environment in the Amazonas. I don't know, a lot of people here probably know him, Eduardo Taveira, and he really liked the idea. He said, you know, it makes sense because I'd like to do a road show and be in the area to share what Amazonas state is doing for, you know, aiming to potential investors. But how to do that, right? It's not just traveling and going to a chamber of commerce and have a pitch, then go back. I think it's strategically to think about a cross-sector partnership center. So it's that you create a hub and a permanent environment and place where you're going to be able to exchange opportunities for investments. You're going to be able to do workshops. You're going to be able to do, you know, seminars, and also bring the startups. I mean, present the startups, the Amazonian startups, to potential investors there. So you just create, you know, a center. That's the idea, and also when permits, I mean, when travel permits, I've been talking to the State University of Amazonas, UEA, with the reitor there. It's very important that we have a very strong, robust exchange program with students. We're not talking about 20 students per year. We're talking about 200 students per year coming from all over to the Amazon area, to the Amazon region, because these kids are the future. And but right now we can't, you know, traveling and all the pandemic. But this center will also be good for that.
Great. Okay, time for questions. Amy Kokenauer, you are up first. You're on mute.
Great conversation. Thanks so much. Really and appreciate it a lot. And one of the questions I had with regard to looking at your thematic groups and sort of the work is, you know, what are the barriers that you find over and over that make it difficult to scale and support these businesses? One of the things, you know, we keep hearing about is, for example, around land and resource rights. That's what Cadasta, my organization, focuses on. We're a mapping and digital platform to support local organizations in that space. So that's one of the things we hear sometimes, but also, you know, enabling environment capacity, you know, on the governance piece, you know, facilitating land governance so that local communities are empowered for decision making and have a voice. So I'd just be curious to hear what some of the things in your work that sort of come up over and over that are bottlenecks or barriers to what you're trying to accomplish.
Thank you, Amy. Yeah, what we have heard and learned from the businesses, I can mention Beraca, for instance, who is in the state of Pará. In talking to the CEO, when he joined the PPA, and I think he's a part of the group here.
Yeah,
he
and
mentioned.
Actually, oh, sorry, and actually,
we're
getting ready to. We're hoping to sign an agreement with them on this very topic.
Danielle.
So it's interesting you brought. Yeah, Danielle.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, you know, to me, he said, to me, it would be very good if we can help the guy who is, you know, that I'm trying to buy Copaiba, that he has the receipt. He has the right receipt to write to me, because right now he can't. So it's very, very basic. And that's go back to the point, Amy, where we are looking at, and that's fine. We are, you know, we see the Amazon, how, you know, it's huge. So we're looking at always, I think we transfer that image to the probably the solutions that we want to provide. But I think we're, you know, looking to the small scales, to the detail things, that's going to be really making the difference for the local communities, for the family. So we should continue to approach the challenge of the Amazon the way we've been doing for the last years. But also, I think what you bring is precisely working on the specifics of, and then you fragment it, right? Because then that's the other point. What I've been learning and in my experience is that in the Amazon, you have more or less a limitation of helpers or entities that are there for years and are helping. The NGOs, the FAS, and they're doing a great job. But I mean, you go to an event in São Paulo, in Rio, or you're always going to meet the same people, and it's a small group. So I think if we start thinking about diversifying and create opportunities for the outsiders, and that it goes back again to the center, probably in South Florida, that will welcome people that wants to join in and be there to solve exactly that problem that you're mentioning. Just that, for the people that have that problem. So you start creating ecosystems specifically to solve one specific problem. That's going to help Beraca, And then the mindset is, well, we are working in a collective manner, and not so much, and that's going to last. It's a problem that's going to be solved, and it's not going to have a beginning and an end, right? Like a regular project. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. Thank you so much, Alexandre.
Marina.
Hi, Alexandre. It's nice to talk to you again. Oi. My question to you is, how feasible do you think it is to have a similar strategy, or what kind of adaptations would you do to try to how would I say, bring awareness of the importance of the Amazon for the private sector here in the US, and create like something similar to this, but with US companies and with other potential stakeholders?
How to do it?
No, first, if you think that that there is a space for this, that there is a need for this, and
I think,
second,
yes.
if you think that that is something that USAID would be interested in somehow spearheading or doing something about it.
No, I think it makes perfect sense, and it's just that for USAID, we are very much concentrated on the Amazon, and we're based in Brazil, so our funds are just for that reason. We could not, for instance.
Yeah, but you could be a convener. I'm not saying necessarily putting funds into this, but helping this happen, and maybe bringing this and amplifying your PPA, like a portfolio of companies that you have, right?
Yes, and then for that, we would need to have something in hand to attract potential private sector partners. And then one thing that could be, it's not already there, it's not ready, but it could be the opportunities to invest in the Amazonian startups. I mean, 50K, 60K. There's also Citaui is our partner, and as you know, we are investing on the collective crowd lending platform. And I asked Leonardo Letelier from Citaui, when would that be possible that potential investors like you and I could, from the States, could provide like $100, $200 to as an investment to one of those startups that they have in the program. So he said he was working on it last year. I think that would be also attractive for companies there.
Great, thanks. Lars, you're up next.
Hi, Alexandre. I'm Lars from Rainforest Foundation Norway. Thanks for interesting information. One thing that wasn't really clear to me is the way the PPA is operating. In a sense, I got the impression that you sort of stimulate the members, the individual companies, to be sort of open for startups and do some support. But, do you have any development in the direction of kind of collective strategy for investing in the Amazon, sort of an overall uniting everyone behind the targeted sort of multi-year ambitious plans? You know, is it open for such? Do you have those discussions?
Yes.
I'm just curious.
Good question, Lars. Thank you for bringing that up. BPA is right now what, and we're trying to follow what the council. We have a deliberative council formed by the companies, right? Which was just formed last year. And we try to hear and go by what they think we should be doing. And PPA now is, you know, has the thematic groups. They do want it to be more ambitious than that. It's clear, but it's also right now PPA governance structure is being, I would say, consolidating. So we just last year we formed an executive secretariat. So there is a secretary and a team, right, to provide assistance to the companies. But you're right, we already have companies consulting and seeing, you know, let's have a broader strategy in terms of the Amazon and how to do it. So it will come. The thing is, and I must say, unfortunately, the fact that we cannot travel, this is a work that needs to travel. You need to be with them. You need to sit down. You need to, you know, have a coffee and talk to. And then we're doing all online. I was very happily surprised that we were able last year to make those progress, because we created and Jana, I mean, you know, the board you created is all online. I never done that. With Mais Unidos was like, you know, I was engaging and working with them closely all the time. But we're learning. But that's the aim of PPA too. By the way, for USAID, we want the PPA to be able to become a legacy for the Amazon and for Brazil. Companies are looking and are now understanding the value of it. So we do have a fund within the PPA, within the governance structure. That's mainly now USAID money, but we are welcoming other partners to join. For the acceleration program right now, we have Instituto Manisi and Fundo Vale. They're our partners with, you know, in the acceleration program. But the idea is just to bring more partners to this, to co-create, to co-invest, and make it big, right? And impact. And it's for Brazil.
Thank you. John Meissner.
Thanks, Jonah, and thanks, Alexander. This has been really educational, and thank you for all the work you're doing. I would love to get a few more of your success stories for startups coming out of your Accelerator program, and maybe talk a little bit about how they were able to make it through the pandemic. And by way of introduction, John Meissner from MXV Ventures out in Oakland, California. We work with early stage startups, and I'd love to learn more about, like I said, some of your success stories. So thank you.
Well, let me see if I can, I'm gonna try to get the link here for the PPA Programa Aceleração. That it's been a really challenging year, as you may think. A lot of these startups really needed help this year. Let me share with you here, chat. But we have Manioca, for instance, which is one of the success. These are a startup that produce and sells Amazonian products, fruits, and they've been they're based in the Pará state, and they've been very successful to through the acceleration program. They learn how to develop, their business plan, marketing strategy, reaching out new customers. IDESAN was there, the NGO, to help them, and that created they created a very strong communication strategy as well. And they were, their sales went just up with a few, but they were already more advanced than the others in terms of management. The other one that I find really interesting is called Navegan. Navegan is a company, Amazonian startups, that it's kind of the Uber of the rivers in the Amazon. So it's by application, and you call, you need a boat, and you go there and set it up, and it's like a Uber. And they're okay. They're not doing really well because of the pandemic, but we're monitoring closely.
If I may add, I was actually Derek here from Oasis Foods. Wanted to thank you. We were a part of the first class there, and Manioca actually just announced that they're receiving funding from
ABF.
From the fund out of London, the Althelia, right? So just mention that. And I think they also connected with Mercado Libre through that program as well, which helped a lot on the Mercado Libre was a good order. A lot of the companies that had dry goods and whatnot. So I think they did well with that. So just complimenting there. And I hope to say that we'll have some good news in the next few months as well from our end as well.
Thanks, Derek, for your work. Thank you.
No, and just to complement like this vision of a network, because one thing connects with the other. Like we as Connexus, we invested in some equity in Manioca as well. So we actually helped them, and in a way, I can't disclose the name of the company, but we are working very closely with Manioc and a company in Brazil to develop a line of products that to regionalize some of the products. Instead of using, I don't know, jalapeno pepper, let's use the Baniwa pepper, or let's use tucupi preto. So we are at the beginning of developing these products that we hope to launch by June. So just to give an example, how something like this that is highlighted by PPA ended up then, because you have the whole network, people start helping and doing different parts of how they can help in order to actually foster the entire ecosystem. I just wanted to give.
Thank you, Maite, very much. Yeah. See, let me what you guys are bringing up. It's very interesting. Let me also share with you that PPA is working on a new acceleration strategy, a thesis, and what we have learned from the acceleration program that IDESAN is implementing is that it's very interesting, because we see that the ticket size that we thought would be higher, it wasn't. Even Derek mentioned the Althelia Biodiversity Fund. We have been having signs that the initial expectations of ticket size for the fund, it's not what they expected would be. So they have to revisit. They are revisiting now in terms of ticket size to be able to develop pipelines. In other words, I have a sense that we're going to have to be doing more investments in lower ticket and lower size of, which is, I mean, and then you fragment it. Instead of doing like 2 deals, you do like 20, because there are 20 business there that needs, instead of 500,000, 100,000. That's what we are finding out based on the 3 years experience and looking at the scenario. When we did the first, when we put up the first call For the first year of the acceleration program, we got 81 proposals, 81 startups. We selected 15. The second year, we got 200 proposals in 2019. But still, when you look at those businesses, they're not looking for a 1 million reais or 2 million reais. They're looking for 200,000 reais, 300,000 reais. So it's more work, but it's the reality there. And I think the big tickets, it's there, the opportunity for big operations and for big investments, but then it would be more related to infrastructure, to connectivity. I mean, then you're going more towards the side of the state and the public sector. How to do it, or I don't know, but that's it. Yes.
I have a question. I'd like to invite Giovanna Figueiredo to introduce herself. Partially because ICLEI has a strategy or a program to connect with multiple Amazon cities simultaneously. For those macro level investors that want to come into the Amazon region and a small play is not viable, because the minimum budget that your government or your institution invests is $5 million philanthropically or $5 million in a for-profit way. Partnering with larger platforms can allow for commercial scale. Giovanna, I see you on the call. Are you there? Could you come on and tell us about Pacto pela Amazônia, or the Amazon Cities Pact?
Sure. Thank you, Jonah. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all. I'm Giovanna. I'm an institutional project officer at ICLEI South America. And thank you for the opportunity to be here with you and to get to know better PPA and Mais Unidos. Personally, were projects and initiatives that I already knew before, but it's really good to see that you are focusing on these activities and looking for Amazonic territories. So from ICLEI, we are starting to work with this kind of institutional project, which is called Pan-Amazonic Cities Forum. We are trying to create this platform to connect cities from not only from Brazil, but from Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, and sorry, I always forget some. So it's Colombia, Brazil, Bolivia, Peru, and Ecuador, sorry. And we are trying to understand how these local governments could exchange their good practices and knowledge, connecting them with new opportunities that we get inside ICLEI with other many partners we have. So in the last year, we had the opportunity to have this consultation route with them, and the cities, they have indicated us that financing local projects are their main challenge, and also how to strengthen local opportunities for bioeconomy. So this is something we are getting to know better as an institution that works with local governments in South America, and trying to get into this ecosystem, connecting with many others players in these territories. And for the this new cycle, we are planning to have capacity building activities for these local governments, and we will offer them some of the projects we worked from ICLEI, such as we have some cooperation methodologies, and the main objective mainly is to connect themselves and to spread the good practices we already know that they have locally. So broadly, this is the idea and the status we are on. This is a new initiative. We are trying to understand better the local dynamics, because we don't want to create one more initiative that will be just one more initiative, you know. So just trying to understand how we could offer solutions that will attend their demands from ICLEI side. So yeah, it's really good to connect with you all. Thank you.
Alexandre, before you respond, I want to say one thing. I heard a statistic yesterday that in the United States, 60% of people who earn $100,000 or more per year in this country, the United States, don't need to leave home. They can work remotely. The pandemic has accelerated that. You guys at PPA have a council of several dozen stakeholders, NGOs, but also big companies. It seems to me that part of Amazon region economic development can be franchises that get developed in many cities simultaneously, or even businesses that come to life employing people working online. You know, more employment through virtual kinds of careers, it can decrease deforestation pressure. And ICLEI also has a network of former mayors. Doing business within with a current mayor of a city can be complicated because politics can be involved. But former mayors are people who have a lot of commercial connections, things like that. So this is me making a very long-winded question. What about Amazon-wide regional development strategies? Have there been such conversations?
No, that's, I think that's exactly what we need. We need to think outside the box and be really creative and think in innovative solutions, exactly what you're talking about. I would be really interesting to learn more about ICLEI. I also think the GCF, Governor's Climate and Forest Task Force, since they are related to the subnational state governments, I think that would be interesting to hear and have a say from Colleen. And I don't know if she knows this initiative and ICLEI. But any idea or initiative that is disruptive should be welcome in the Amazon. You know, and that at the end of the day is going to help to decrease or to contain deforestation and create job opportunities and income generation. It should be welcome. And the way we have to do this is, you know, it's in a collective manner. We have to take it as, you know, in a group and focus on that and deliver it on that. So I'd like to learn more about it and also maybe present it to the PPA Executive Secretariat, ICLEI. So we're ready. We're welcome. It's just let's set it up.
Alexandre, sorry, just a quick reaction. I'm trying to schedule a call with you so we can
okay.
We can talk better. I was in contact with Guto Correa, Augusto.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Mm-hmm. Is he working
yes.
with you?
Well, yeah. Well, you know, he was the executive director in Mais Unidos when I left. We hired him.
Yes.
And then now he's the executive director in PPA.
Okay, so we'll get to know each other soon, very soon.
You have direct contact with him, right?
Yeah, I do.
Please reach out to him. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, any other questions for Giovanna or Alexandre or anybody else? Great. We're right at the top of the hour. I've learned a lot. I've seen some new macro level scheming and collaboration ideas coming forward. very exciting. I can't wait for more.
One thing, can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Let's work on emergency mode for the Amazon.
Yeah.
Let's not, it has to be, it's an emergency.
Agreed.
Yeah. Thank you, Jonah.
Okay.
Thank you, Alexandre.
Thank you. Thank you.
Count on us for that. Thank you. Bye-bye.
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 Everybody, thanks so much.
Bye. Thank you,
Good one.
Jonah. Bye.